and this is my dad Benji. If you have not checked us out before, we are on Spotify and on Instagram at Submerge Podcast. This is episode 12, and we hope you enjoy.
Yeah, and this week we celebrate two important things. The first, your birthday on Wednesday, and Camila will be 16. And also, it is the summer solstice on Wednesday, right? No, so is it Tuesday?
It's Tuesday.
Tuesday, so tomorrow is the summer solstice. So what better way to bring in this new period, this new season, by talking about aha again, and also reacting, as we promised from the previous episode, to the aha movie.
Yeah.
We were absolutely psyched to see it.
Yeah.
I think it surprised us. I think it reinforced a lot of things that we talked about.
Yeah.
And and then, but also we have to bring a critical eye to this, right? Both from the movie itself and also the characters, or are they characters or not? And are they that real? And when you break down myths, do we get disappointed? Do we get excited? Does it bring a new element? I think a bit of everything. But first of all, maybe the overall reaction just to the movie, the documentary itself. Camila, what did you think?
I liked the movie. I think it was really emotional. It seemed super emotional to me than other documentaries because I feel like they've been together for so long and a lot of things have happened between them and stuff. So I think that it was special to watch that documentary and kind of validate almost what we were thinking about them and stuff. So yeah, I really liked it, and I liked the animation, and I liked the soundtrack. They played a bunch of my favorite songs, and yeah, I just thought it was cute, for being such a short documentary. I thought it was cute.
Because if you are a fan like we are, and then even more an avid fan like I am, it was wonderful to see them in this human light. I'm a little older, obviously, Camila, than you are, and I've been listening to them since I'm 9 years old. And but then also there were things that did surprise me about them as a group, and I'm glad, with my perspective, that I did not see them in this digital era, in this social media era, because I think it would have spoiled a lot of things for me without having now the years of experience. I think if I'd seen it, let's say fall in love with their music at 9 years old, and then having them blasted out on social media about their differences, about how the creative differences, the human differences, the personalities, it might have spoiled a little bit for me. So after now talking about these human beings that they are, these three individuals that are very distinct, the two Virgos and the Scorpio, the artists that they are, now that you saw them maybe in a different light, and understand it's a documentary, so it's edited a certain way to make you feel a certain way. But what did you find out that was interesting about them, first as a group and then individually?
Well, I feel like each individual has their own distinct personality, their own unique traits. I think that Magne is really talented, and he doesn't really show that. You don't see that through their music. And as you watch the documentary, you kind of see that they're all kind of pain in the asses to work with, and they're all very ego-driven personalities. So you can tell that there's been a lot of difficulties of them coming together and creating music. But when they do work together, they create wonderful music. So it was just kind of funny to see them arguing all the time, or someone bickering about something, and the rest of the group's just bro, shut up. So it's funny to just see different personalities clash, but also be able to create such a beautiful thing. I don't know, it's kind of funny how the music industry, you think that a group that would make music like that would work together so well, but they don't. But they still come back together all the time, and they always create music. So, I mean, something probably draws them together at one point.
Well, that's how, on the spoilers, obviously, as the documentary is ending, I think it's Morton that says that this group was never really based off friendship. Okay. And friendships formed but it is what links them and what really brings, anchors them to a port. And by me anchoring to the port, I mean to a studio and getting back together and making wonderful music, is the love for the music. And I think also Paul said that, he goes, we do have a tremendous respect for each other as artists. And then you talk about Magne. Recently, I think he had another kind of concrete piece exhibition that was commissioned, and also with a gallery, another kind of exhibition. So, yeah, very, and obviously the emotional part for me was finding about the health of Magne, his cardiac fibrillation issues, and despite all this fighting, then it was he extrapolated Paul from the thing. I'm sure Morton followed up, right? But Paul was the one that kind of reached out to him and said, well, we've got to make this work for you and for your health, or else then there's no aha, it doesn't exist, right? And I think that's what came out in the documentary. You understand that, and we can go back to the songwriting, right? And who's the co-producer who wrote the songs, and we talked about their talents as songwriters, especially Paul. They do agree that there has to be some sort of consensus, right? You notice whoever has the push and pull. Let me bring up the example of Foot of the Mountain. Foot of the Mountain, the album and the song, is celebrating 13 years. We were just listening to it in the car. And that, I forgot how fantastic that album is. 2009, Foot of the Mountain. And it's both a cheeky song with the verse by Magne, and then the chorus by Paul. And at the time, the manager decided to bring the songs together. And it was the first time instead of kind of building up the way Paul likes to do it, like get a riff from Magne or get a piece. And as he explained, he's like, okay, it's great that you have maybe some furniture, but you don't have the legs to the table. And so some contradicting information there, right? But when they do come together and bring their heads together, even though we didn't know about Foot of the Mountain, it's an extraordinary song, right? And then that frustration, by the way, internal, I think you pointed out rightly so, people think that they're bloody difficult to work with. The director of James Bond called them Nazi youth when they did The Living Daylights, because guess what? He wanted to change a portion, I think, with strings and make it different. And he, as Magne said, he goes, they encountered a wall of confidence at the time because they were coming off celebrity status of the two first albums. I kind of love that they're so stubborn, but at the same time, coming maybe more from a more Latin-based culture that we are, sometimes I'm like, just give each other a fucking hug, just one, man. Like, just they don't really give affection. Or say any, like some of the jokes that they make to each other, it's like it's a joke, but it's not a joke. Like, they're sarcastically trying to be dicks to each other, but it's funny because when for example, when Paul was having some differences over the songs and all that, Morton sits down casually on the sofa for another interview and says, he's like, is Paul still in the band? It's such an asshole. But that's the way they talk to each other. And then there was Magne and Paul making fun of, for example, when the fans came, they gave a bigger present to Morton. Again, we talked about his idol status as sex symbol, and that continues. So what do you think about this, even with nostalgic, these fans and these women that come and still adore him, and he's approaching his 60s. What do we think of Morton? Has he lost his Snickers snack, status?
No. I just think he looks older, and maybe he doesn't need to dress like my yoga teacher. Like the beads around his neck.
But he's got a style. You understand that?
So it's like the same outfit every day, though.
No.
Change it up.
I'm down with him being eccentric because that's who he is. You saw when they were in London, when they were running out of money and running out of hairspray, he would use paint to put in his hair. He had to be, because we were here in the new wave punkish era. people dress weird regardless, and he understood that. Listen, we're gonna be a brand. He even stripped Paul of his clothes and kind of like gave him a redo, right? A whole remakeup, so whatever. Makeover, sorry. So they're interesting, right? As these different, as you said, ego-driven forces to come together. Yeah. Let's talk really quick about the music. So you mentioned, the beauty of the songs coming together. How long that idea of Take On Me took to germinate? How many times?
It was like 30 minutes of the documentary, bro. I don't think I've ever been so tired of hearing that riff in my mind. I'm like, damn, just...
It was a punk riff. They used an electric harp at one point.
It was at like hard rock at one point, like heavy metal. It was just, I don't even know, bro. Like, it was just so many drafts of like ways they could use the riff, and it took them so long to create such a simple song, really, if you listen to it. Mm-hmm. And it was like literally 30 minutes of the documentary, and I'm like, okay guys, we get it. Like,
yeah, but I get it, but I think it's important to show that people think that a song, yes, sometimes people can go in the studio and within 30 seconds to a minute come up with a song, and then it's immediate, it's electric. But sometimes people have to go through ordeals, people have to go through the work, and they have to revisit things in order to create your masterpiece. I mean, in this case, it was a one-hit wonder, but what was lovely about the documentary is as they were going through their different albums, and I was obviously getting, emotional like each one, because I remember different time periods.
Like crying, I'm like...
Almost. And you see the work that goes in. For them, it's important, the artistry, what comes out. Yeah. Right? So, you can't neglect that aspect. Yeah. So then, what is then, maybe to conclude, it seems that we both really enjoyed it. Fans, go see it.
It's worth it.
It's so worth it. It makes you nostalgic. It makes you want to see them in concert.
I want to see them so bad in concert.
Exactly.
So
please
bad.
Come to
they
Florida.
Look like they have so much fun. Like, please come to Miami, please.
Miami, Orlando.
Please.
Along the East Coast.
I beg you, just like anywhere here.
We'll
I'll literally drive to go see you. Like, please.
And so what do you wish for this group, and also what do you expect of this True North album coming out in the fall?
I just hope that it makes them happy, because a lot of the albums that they've come out with, like they said on the documentary, didn't make them happy. Like, they thought that they could do better, and I just hope that this new album finally kind of brings some peace to their continuous worrying of their mind as to whether or not the music is good enough for them. And I just hope that they're happy with what comes out of it, and I hope that Morton can sing in concert without getting annoyed with his own voice, which I understand.
Well, they've been sick on tour, and people have commented on Morton's voice. That's what makes this. I think obviously the songs come alive, but we know Paul, prolific in his writing, has written, he says, another album or more. But then it needs to be blessed, as you saw by Magne or by Morton.
I just hope they can work together and make something good. Because at the end of the documentary, they said that they think a-ha hasn't come out with their best album yet. So I hope that they finally do that, so they can find some peace and maybe like retire, just live their lives and be happy. I wish them the best with that. Yeah,
we wish them too. And so for the fans, please check it out. Thank you for listening to us. Thank you for the love that we got on the a-ha album. Hopefully this reaction gives you that impetus to go to Amazon, go to Target, buy the movie, go see it if it's playing in your theaters and select theaters. And thank you very much. So we'll talk to you guys later.
See you guys soon.
Cheers.
All
Thank you.
Peace, guys.
Bye.